In the chaos of Trump's second term, Susie Wiles stands out as the White House Chief of Staff, a role that has never been more demanding or high stakes. She brings a rare discipline and sense of order to the West Wing, where unpredictability is often the norm and every day brings a new set of challenges. Her calm, non-confrontational style is a stark contrast to the turbulence that defined Trump's first term, and it's this steady presence that has earned her respect from both allies and skeptics. Wiles, a veteran political operative with decades of experience, has become the president's gatekeeper, quietly shaping decisions, managing the flow of information, and ensuring that only the most important matters reach the Oval Office. She's known for her ability to handle big personalities, a skill she credits to growing up with her father, NFL legend Pat Summerall. Navigating the world of professional sports as a child taught her how to read a room, defuse tension, and command respect without raising her voice. Wiles' steady hand is credited with imposing order, even as Trump's instincts often disrupt her efforts. She's become adept at anticipating problems before they explode, and at keeping the staff focused when distractions threaten to derail the agenda. She's structured policymaking and tried to instill process, but the president's unpredictability remains a constant challenge. Still, her persistence and organizational skills have brought a new level of professionalism to the West Wing. Allies and critics alike note her influence in every major decision, even as she navigates daily crises and manages a team under relentless pressure. Her ability to keep the administration moving forward is seen as nothing short of remarkable. As 2025 ends, Wiles' role is more critical than ever. She's the architect behind the scenes, keeping the administration on track, balancing competing interests, and making sure the president's agenda doesn't get lost in the noise. Her calm demeanor masks the immense power she wields in a White House, always on the brink of chaos. Few realize just how much depends on her ability to keep things running smoothly. In a presidency defined by disruption, Susie Wiles is the anchor holding it together, her leadership, discretion, and resilience shaping the course of history from behind closed doors. Susie Wiles shattered the image of a unified White House in a series of candid interviews with Vanity Fair. She described Trump as having an alcoholic's personality, not because he drinks, but because he's driven by an insatiable need for control. Wiles called Vice President J.D. Vance a conspiracy theorist, and criticized Attorney General Pam Bondi for failing to deliver on the Epstein files. She labeled Budget Director Russell Vought a right-wing zealot and described Elon Musk, now a cabinet member, as an odd duck. Wiles admitted she tried and failed to get Trump to stop settling scores after his first 90 days. Her comments revealed deep tensions and a president fixated on retribution, with staff struggling to contain his impulses. These revelations exposed the harsh reality behind the administration's public unity. Even Wiles, the ultimate insider, can't always rein in Trump's vengeful instincts. Trump's second term began with a blitz of 26 executive orders, signaling a dramatic shift in policy. The U.S. withdrew from the WHO and Paris Agreement, rescinded birthright citizenship, and froze federal hiring. Most controversial was the mass pardon of over 1,500 January 6 defendants, including those convicted of violence, overruling Wiles' advice. Trump framed the pardons as justice for patriots, but critics saw them as an endorsement of political violence. The administration also targeted political adversaries, using the Justice Department to pursue retribution. Wiles confirmed Trump's personal vendettas often drive official policy, blurring the line between governance and grievance. The cabinet, stacked with loyalists, moved quickly to enact Trump's agenda, regardless of controversy. The first year set a tone of aggressive, unapologetic action, energizing Trump's base and shocking Washington. Trump's America First agenda unleashed sweeping tariffs, some as high as 100%, on a wide range of imported goods, from steel and aluminum to everyday consumer products. These tariffs were designed to protect American industries and force trading partners to the negotiating table. But they came at a cost. The new trade barriers disrupted global supply chains, leading to higher prices for everything from groceries to electronics, and making it harder for businesses to plan for the future. By year's end, most voters believed the tariffs hurt the U.S. economy, as job losses mounted in export-dependent sectors and consumer confidence wavered. Still, the administration pressed on, insisting the pain was temporary and necessary for long-term gain. On immigration, Trump invoked the rarely used Alien Enemies Act to launch mass deportations, targeting not only undocumented immigrants but also legal residents from certain countries. Many were swept up in raids and deported with little legal process or opportunity to appeal. The crackdown led to wrongful detentions, bureaucratic chaos, and widespread fear in immigrant communities. Even U.S. citizens and children were caught up in the dragnet, separated from families and forced to prove their status. Outrage erupted from civil liberties groups who condemned the policies as violations of basic rights and due process. Federal troops were deployed to cities like Los Angeles and D.C., a move not seen in decades, to enforce order and support local law enforcement. The administration justified these deployments as necessary crime-fighting measures, citing rising unrest and threats to public safety. But critics saw them as political theater, accusing the White House of using force to distract from economic woes and stoke division. The aggressive use of federal power polarized the nation, deepening rifts between communities and fueling heated debates across the country. Legal scholars and judges began to question the limits of executive authority as lawsuits and challenges mounted in the courts. Supporters, however, hailed these moves as bold steps to protect American jobs, restore national security, and reassert U.S. sovereignty. Opponents warned of economic pain, social upheaval, and a climate of fear that threatened the nation's core values. The administration's willingness to upend long-standing norms and traditions has left a deep and lasting mark on the country's political landscape. The long-term consequences of these actions are still unfolding as Americans grapple with the new reality. But one thing is clear: the shockwaves from this era are undeniable, and the nation's future remains uncertain. After the Vanity Fair article, the Trump team moved fast to Project Unity. J.D. Vance joked about being a conspiracy theorist, turning criticism into a badge of honor. Pam Bondi praised Wiles as a loyal friend, dismissing talk of division. Russell Vogt called Wiles exceptional, sidestepping her critique. Wiles herself called the article a hit piece, blaming the media for misrepresenting her words. The administration's coordinated response was classic Trump: attack the press, close ranks, and shift focus from internal drama. Trump publicly backed Wiles, brushing off her alcoholic's personality comment as a compliment to his drive. The show of unity, real or not, helped the White House weather the storm. Trump's second-term foreign policy is even bolder and more unpredictable than before, with Wiles offering rare glimpses behind the scenes of decision-making that often defies convention. The administration's approach is marked by a willingness to break with tradition, challenge global norms, and act unilaterally when it suits American interests. On Ukraine, Wiles revealed that Trump privately believes Putin's ambitions extend far beyond what he says publicly. He suspects Putin wants to conquer the entire country, a view that contradicts Trump's outward calls for peace and negotiation. This internal skepticism shapes the administration's guarded stance toward Russia, even as public messaging remains ambiguous. In Latin America, the administration has doubled down on efforts to force regime change in Venezuela, authorizing strikes on drug boats and ramping up covert pressure on Maduro's government. These aggressive tactics are designed to destabilize the regime and send a message to other authoritarian leaders in the region. Wiles didn't object to these hardline tactics, instead highlighting a doctrine that favors the use of force over traditional diplomacy. The administration's strategy is clear: show strength, act decisively, and avoid drawn-out negotiations. She also debunked Trump's repeated claims about Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein, confirming that there is no credible evidence linking Clinton to Epstein's infamous island, despite years of speculation and conspiracy theories. Wiles admitted that Trump's own name appears in the files, but insisted he was not doing anything awful. She emphasized that the documents have been scrutinized, and nothing incriminating has surfaced regarding Trump's conduct. The abrupt shutdown of USAID and PEPFAR, orchestrated by Elon Musk, sent shockwaves through the global health community. Despite Wiles's efforts to intervene, her influence was not enough to prevent the closure, leaving millions at risk and sparking outrage among humanitarian leaders. The administration's willingness to disrupt long-standing alliances and international norms has left America's allies deeply uneasy. Tensions at NATO and G7 summits are palpable as world leaders struggle to adapt to the new reality. Trump's foreign policy is driven by personal instinct, a readiness to use force, and a belief that unpredictability is a strategic advantage. This approach keeps both adversaries and allies guessing. As the world watches, uncertainty prevails. Allies and rivals alike are left to wonder what the next move will be, and how America's shifting stance will reshape the global order in the years to come. Elon Musk's role as head of government efficiency brought new unpredictability to the White House. His abrupt shutdown of USAID and global health programs stunned the world and drew fierce criticism. Wiles, calling Musk an odd duck, scrambled to manage the fallout and keep the administration on track. Her challenge imposed order while accommodating powerful, impulsive figures like Musk. Despite the chaos, Wiles has made the West Wing more disciplined than in Trump's first term. She controls access to the Oval Office and ensures even radical policies are rolled out through official channels. The cabinet's actions, like ending the newborn hepatitis B vaccine recommendation, reflect Wiles's insistence on process, even for controversial moves. Her quiet competence is the glue holding the administration together. In a White House of big personalities, Wiles keeps the machine running. As the year ends, Trump prepares a primetime Oval Office address to tout his record and vision. He'll celebrate economic nationalism, border security, and the return of Merry Christmas, framing his presidency as a restoration of American values. Expect him to defend controversial policies like tariffs, deportations, and the January 6 pardons as necessary for national strength. The speech is aimed at bypassing hostile media and energizing his base. For supporters, it's a moment of triumph. For critics, a reminder of deep divisions. Trump's message: America is back, stronger and prouder than ever. The address will cap a year of upheaval, defining his second term on his own terms.